What's that again? What's that?
Ram-tastic.
Ram-tastic.
It's like ram-tastic because we're the Radford Rams, and taste because it's Iron Chef.
Of course. Okay.
Just put your spelling, I'm sure.
No, that's fine. It's like it's like fantastic,
I'll just do
but ram-tastic.
introduce the
So we'll say ready.
online
We
audience.
hope to have
it's
a
recording.
fantastic day.
All right, so welcome to, it's just us. We don't have much of an audience, unfortunately, but that's okay. We have an online audience. So this is Iron Chef Google Challenge. So yesterday, these guys were willing enough to participate in the session. They got a challenge, which was to create a project focused on Google and using the ISTE standards for students. And each team had to randomly select 4 ingredients from a table. I think it was Google Apps was one ingredient, grade levels was one ingredient, learner abilities was another. And what was the 4th one? Devices. So they each got a particular device, had to focus on a particular Google app or series of apps, a specific range of grade levels, and a specific learner ability. And so they have to develop a classroom project that they could take back to school. And so they are here to present. So without further ado, I give you Team Ram-tastic. All right, take it away.
So go ahead.
All right. So when my daughter was 5 years old and she was in kindergarten, she came home one day and I was asking her about her day a little bit, and then later on, she was in the bathtub and she kind of sat up on the edge of the tub and she goes like this, right on the edge, and she goes, "My teacher told me that good students sit like this," and you can probably guess her teacher said that because she wasn't very good at sitting like this. and so I said, well, I think good students ask great questions, and you ask great questions. So our project is about scientific inquiry and teaching kids to ask great questions.
Yeah, and we specifically wanted to take this with the concept of digital technology-driven inquiry, right? Because that was our whole goal, is we had to connect all of the different pieces. And so we started with the idea of inquiry and scientific inquiry specifically, although of course it's a mixed plate, so it's interdisciplinary. And kind of carefully considering this balance between the idea of going paperless, right? Everybody's like, oh, paperless, great, let's go paperless. And we're going, okay, paperless, but isn't there a place for paper? Like paper airplanes? So we wanted to start with that. So if you could each take your piece of paper, and while we are giving an overview of the project, while we are talking, we invite you to play with the paper and create your best paper airplane. So whatever that means to you, okay? And please work while we talk. Okay, so just as they discussed, we wanted to give you an overview of our mixed plate. And everybody make sure you glance up at this at least once while we're on this slide, because we're very clever and we have to share our cleverness. So mixed plate, we took it kind of literally. My favorite mixed plate at L&L, sorry, unintentional plug, is the barbecue mixed plate with the curry. So we have our curry, which is our device, which is our Chromebook, because I'm an English teacher and I like alliteration. And we have learners' abilities. For us, it was the single gender classroom, which was boys. So we're going to talk a little bit more about what that has to do with the project later. Our Google Apps for Drive, that's the rice, because there are all these little grains of things that when mixed together become sort of the starch, the base of the meal. And then our learner levels are mac salad, because little kids love mac salad as like pre-K to 2nd graders.
And we chose 2nd grade.
Yes.
So we have 2nd grade, one gender classroom, boys. Okay, so we pulled some standards because from multiple areas. And so we have Common Core standards in literacy and math. And so with a good inquiry project, students have to, they have to use numbers, they have to measure, they have to write down their observations, they have to record data, they have to work together. And then also, you know, the scientific process itself. So we have English, we have math, we have science standards, and then ISTE standards. And we focus on communication and collaboration. So they're going to work together in teams, and they're going to collaborate, see what the best idea would be. Okay, and then for differentiation and special consideration, so we have all boys. So we have all boys, and there are differences in the brains of boys and girls shown through research. And so we also have boys have a greater likelihood, much higher likelihood to be diagnosed with ADHD, autism spectrum disorders, sensory processing disorders.
And so how many of you in your classrooms, for those of you that are classroom teachers, have boys that like to doodle and draw while you're teaching? Right? Okay. So this is a great activity because they are getting to work with their hands, create. How are your paper airplanes coming, by the way? Almost done?
Yep.
But you're giving it to them in a controlled manner. So you're giving it to them on your terms. So give them the ability to play and to move and to create, but with purpose in mind.
Okay, and now our chance is to take it digital. So I don't know if we have time to click on every little piece of this, but there's a sheet that has for the data. There's a document, a Google Doc, where they're going to do a collaborative experiment report. There's a forms that does an exit pass, and then I just want to show you guys really quickly our drawing. This is one of our sessions yesterday. It's the ugly stepchild or ugly stepsister of Google Drive is the drawings, and so that's my son, Vincent. Last night I gave him this task. I said make a paper airplane, and he's in kindergarten. That's what he came up with. So then we talked about ways that you could change it, and we came up with a design. So the idea is that the students would be able to preserve the original after we recycle the initial paper, and they would have a record of this still where they could, they have their picture. And the great thing about the Chromebook is the ones that we have, you can do it right in the classroom. You create a drawing, you do a drawing, you hit the insert photo, you can take it with a little webcam at the top, and boom, it's done. And it's all right in there.
And then the reward, you know, we talked about would we have them make a final project, a final paper airplane or not. And yes, of course we would, because of course they're going to want to improve and actually try it out and see if it does go further. You know, but that can be that reward at the end. You get through all the steps and you get to create that final product and see how much you know.
So, and we wanted to talk about the ways that the project scales. So not just that it's specific to K-2, because what if you don't teach elementary, and you know, if you're middle or high school, you're in a subject area. So how do you attack this in different ways? So we have one way just within, depending on your classroom population and their technology expertise, are they able to do like a group Google Doc?
Right, a shared document for, you know, older students or more advanced students, that you can have the shared document up on the projector screen and everyone is entering in questions or everyone's entering in ideas. Or, you know, for younger students or new learners, you know, a Google Doc that's up on the screen and the teacher's inputting information as the students get it. So it kind of depends.
But this addresses our inquiry, because we would start with an idea of, you know, you have a paper airplane and you have a ball, and you ask them what questions can we ask about these items, and that sets them on the path of starting to question and then discuss how do you investigate things as you're asking questions about these items. We could have older students create slide presentation, and then even up to the point where you do an interdisciplinary high school project where you have different teachers helping with different portions of Google Drive to then put it on a site and have a digital portfolio.
And then the research process also, you know, trying to figure out, you know, maybe asking some physics related questions, you know, what in the design would make it go farther, faster. And with younger children or kids who are not yet able to do the searches on their own, maybe we would lead them the first time to model that, and with older students, have them do some independent research and look into some scientific journal articles.
Okay, before we go to the questions, I just wanted to look at, so I wanted you to see the exit test. And this can be modified to do something either as a midpoint check before they go home and work on their experiment report or plan their predictions. And so we want you guys to everybody stand up, go to the back of the room.
You're going to see how your airplanes do.
And then you can think about, as you go through this, you can think about if we gave you time to work collaboratively and come up with a revised design, how would you answer this formative check? Okay? So everybody on the count of three. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo! I love this. I love this. So can we infer what the student's answer would be under what makes the paper airplane the best?
Density.
Yeah. Density? Or because it went the farthest because it was the most dense, right? So fantastic.
Do you guys have any questions for us?
So can you reasonably do the drawing tool? Are they supposed to be like an actual schematic of the thing, or is it just
Well, I mean, I think you could do it many different ways. I think the idea that we had was having them draw a schematic of it, kind of simplified drawing, and just to kind of get their ideas in another process going. So rather than just writing down the typical words, writing down, I'm going to, do this. Instead, they can draw it out. Or, you can have different students do different things. So it depends on the strength of. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So they're going to change the shape. And then also to what extent we would talk about different materials and things like that. So, and size. So you could potentially get them to get out their rulers and figure out how long they would want to make, and then they could record that length on the side of the drawing.
Yeah, and you could vary it too, depending on what you want your focus standards to be, and what your primary standards are, and secondary standards.
All right, so I wanted to all the judges deliberate and determine the scores. Anybody willing to go next? Volunteers? All right. Go for it.
Do we have audio here, or?
Yeah, I think so. Just plug in this.
Could you hear, or is audio coming from?
It's on. Doesn't make any noise, right?
Aloha everyone, and welcome to the Hawaii Google Apps for Education Summit.
You turn that up here?
You can.
EdTech Iron Chef. My name is Shankar.
I don't know.
Can you guys hear that okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So before you guys get started, are the judges finished determining score? Okay. Do you mind revealing your total score?
Wow, already?
Oh, way harsh.
Not at the end.
So Robert, what was your total score for food and rent? And if you have any comments, anything you want to add, go for it.
I gave it an
Oh.
I just added this app.
We're gonna pull it up.
Yeah, I feel better doing it that way.
So an 8. Wow. 8. What was it? What's the max? 10. Okay. So an 8 out of 10. Okay. And Jenny? A 9 out of 10. And Ken?
Yes.
A 9 out of 10. All right.
We
Great.
have to I like
Yeah. One sec.
it.
Using fingers.
Yeah. You need paper.
There's a
Awesome.
simplicity and an efficiency.
Are you
Your favorite tool?
recording the scores?
The iPaper, oh yeah.
So a total number.
In my design class, when I give the students something to
Yeah.
sketches on the iPaper.
Nice. Okay.
And then sometimes I have them put it in a folder so it doesn't get bent. We call that the iCase.
Okay, thank you, judges. Moving on to the next team. So now we have Team Equinox. Here you go.
So a little bit of a preface. We were not allowed to use certain tools. So we decided we would probably go through the process of making a YouTube video, which would be an easy way for us to communicate the entirety of this project. So that's what we process of creating. It's exactly 5.5 minutes long, which is what the time cap was. So we'll let go, and we're certainly be open to questions afterwards. It's not super detailed. It's figured we leave that for people to go in and delve into stuff like this.
Aloha, everyone, and welcome to the Hawaii Google Apps for Higher Education Summit EdTech Iron Chef. My name is Sean Connors. Along with my partner, Megan Walters, we got roped into, we decided to participate in this very interesting Iron Chef style challenge, where we're going to be collaborating and designing innovative EdTech solutions. Well, what exactly is that? It's some crazy concoction dreamed up by these two very inspiring educators themselves, Mike Furtado and Megan Cummings. You see, we're going to be developing a project with integrated content areas and ISTE standards for students. Well, what content area did we choose? The same topic Google chose on its website today. Yep, the spring equinox. Or what ISTE standard did we choose? Communication and collaboration. And, well, what were the secret ingredients that we chose? Well, as it turns out, we randomly chose from covered stacks of cards. We were fortunate enough to be able to get some awesome ones. So our project is going to revolve around a middle school gifted mentality classroom where everyone is bringing their own device and they're going to be using Google Apps for education to display their knowledge and work.
Minus anything in Drive.
So we got together, started putting together some ideas, and what we came up with, I'll introduce to you now. Imagine that I'm the teacher and Megan is going to take on the role of the student. We're going to start in Google Classroom. In Google Classroom, in our 6th grade GT Science classroom, there's an assignment coming up. In this cycle, we'll be learning about the spring equinox and how it's impacted societies across the globe for centuries. This amazing celestial event is quite often misunderstood or unknown in today's technology advanced society. And so, there's a short YouTube video for students to watch, and then they can jump right in on that task-specific rubric, which you'll see right now. Let's click on it, shall we? Hey everybody, Mr. Connors here. I hope you're having a great day. Do you know today's actually a pretty special day? No, it's not Katy Perry's birthday. It's actually the Vernal Equinox. What? You ever heard of Vernal Equinox? You see, each year in March, the sun and the earth sit in a very balanced state called the equinox. For thousands of years, mankind has celebrated this day as a turning point in the seasons and has planned many other cultural and agricultural events around this celestial occasion. However, in our technologically advanced society, people have lost their connection and understanding to this powerful, historical, and global event. So guys and girls, here's your challenge. Your role is as a cultural anthropologist who's determined to bring awareness to our global society about the immense historical significance of this spring equinox. Using Google Apps for Education and your social media savvy, your task is to reach out to your local and our global community to bring a new awareness to this amazing event. Be sure to use your task-specific rubrics. If you've got questions, don't hesitate to ask. When you're done, you'll need to either attach, upload, or connect whatever your project is to our Google Classroom. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys can come up with. Good luck. As the students have gone through the process of choosing what they wanted to do, we're going to focus on one particular entry that was turned in by a 6th grader named Megan. Let's take a look. Better yet, let's hear what Megan has to say herself.
Hello everybody, my name is Megan and I'm a 6th grader in Mr. Connor's GT Science class. I'm here to teach you all about my understanding of the spring equinox. I've decided to build a blog. Here's an example of my blog, and I've shown many things that I learned about culturally and universally throughout the world. I'm hoping that you'll be able to collaborate on my blog with me and share your ideas as well. I'm going to turn in my blog to the classroom site by copying my link, going to my classroom website, going to my assignment, adding my link, waiting for it to load, and now I can turn it in. You can also post on my blog, and I look forward to hearing what you know about the spring equinox.
Well, now that you've seen Megan's website and heard from her yourself about how she used Google Apps for Education, especially in this particular case, she decided to create a blog, and Google Plus, and integrate Twitter and a couple of other wonderful multimedia. We need your help. You see, we're going to be vying against a couple of other teams. We're hoping that at 8 o'clock on Saturday, March 21st, you might be able to help us. You can do so by going to www.govote.at and entering this code. You'll be given an opportunity to choose which is your favorite team. We're hoping you'll choose Team Equinox. Thank you for listening to our presentation. We hope you've enjoyed it and learned something new. And hopefully next year, we'll see you at the GAF Summit EdTech Iron Chef 2016. Aloha.
So there's a lot of information in there, specifically because we knew that we were going to post it online and try and hopefully get people outside of this room.
Hi everyone, here's Mr. Connors talking to you through.
I also teach my students how to use Google Drive, which I'm looking forward to your session later on today. Again, so as an entire package, hoping that people out there will be able to understand why we're doing it and what we're doing, in addition to the specifics of what we can share with them.
I would love to know just a teeny snapshot more about the blog and how you kind of go about how some students use that, like I'm assuming it's in the App Store.
So we use a tool blogger, which they can sign in with their Google accounts. And everyone has their own. So you can either use, you can have yourself as a blogger and create your own blog account, and comment on the things that you post, or they can maintain their own blogs, and there's also for members of each other's blogs. Last year in 4th grade, I did all of my kids on their own blogs, and as part of the weekly moments that they were required to navigate to 3 other things in classes. Blog posts with their links and then respond to each other.
Specifically, our task was to use the Google Apps for Education, but we couldn't use any of the Drive components.
We had to use like everything. And no
anything-
geotips.
Yeah, which included things like YouTube and Blogger, and we tried to bring in also Google Classroom, which is not technically considered, as one of those ways that we can reach out. Specifically, we're hoping to capitalize on the ability for students to reach out to their extended Google community and reach by incorporating things like Google Plus, Twitter, and so on. It was really fast because I didn't know how much time we had to do this. But if you were to look at the ISTE standards for communication and collaboration, the 4 of them, ours particularly hit solidly. I think 3 of those, and I can bring them up so you can look at them in detail. Too. Again, this is a gifted and talented group, so there's a lot of remedials that we probably wouldn't cover. We're expecting them to take a lot of initiative of their own to go out and try. I mean, we would expect if there were other kids, there would be kids who have made YouTube videos, and there would be kids who would have created Google sites, just depending on what they felt comfortable with and the best particular mode to communicate with other kids.
And we actually, collaboration and communication is our main focus, but we did actually touch on the research as teachers to say what they go out and like the video that myself as a student in edit was a video we found that talks about the spring festival. picture also. It was like free to use.
I just think that was really cool.
Thanks.
All right.
So I was using a tool called U2.
All right. You want to use your computer, or do you want to? What's easier for you? Okay, you just got to click on the link in there. You just want to say it, right? Yeah. Yeah. Just got to click on your.
We are the Apple II because math. But also we were given the icebreaker prompt of what was our first computer. We both realized Apple II. Old and reliable, and it's still the best selling computer of all time. So we're desired among. Okay, so
Hold on. Let's get the judges' scores first.
Good.
All right, so Kevin, you want to go first? Oh. Oh, yeah. So he's giving them an 8. 8 out of 10. With the Western dude. Perfect. Thanks, Kevin.
the best thing.
Uh-oh. And another 8. 8 out of 10. All right. And last one. 8 with a palm tree and a smiley face. Okay. Everybody's across the board. Good job, team. All right, so next up, let me flip it back. We have Team the Apple II. Take it away.
Okay. All right. So we were tasked with iPads as our device, Google Apps that will work in the iPad. 3rd to 5th graders was our age, and then 30% special needs. So we're showing kind of a different expression levels throughout this project.
Right, so the assumptions are that the kids already had a lesson with digital citizenship, and in order to meet all of the needs, because only 30% of the students have a special needs disability, we're thinking we needed to address all of the needs of the class, including them as well. So how it's going to run is students will be put into heterogeneous groups. They're going to work together collaboratively. They're going to go through like a review. Go through like a review of what they learned. It's an interactive slide that we're using on the slide on the tablets. And so as they're going through the slides, they're going to be able to make decisions.
Yeah. So I'll show you what this looks like. So
10 points.
So hold on to that. And we have a 6+ that you can play with. This was taught to me by the lovely, or the talented Jay Atwood yesterday. And lovely. Okay, so the scenario is your friend posts a photo on Instagram that shows their street name and where they live. And you are prompted with decision time. Okay, so you guys can play around with that. We'll have you go left to right just to see all the possibilities. So if you're thinking, I know what to do, I got this, full house, that's what you should say. No, wrong answer. So you're not able to move any further forward. You have to go to the next couple options. I don't know, no comment. Next one would be just worry about them, but don't say anything. So these are kind of the dead ends that the students are running into. And then, oh, you should tell them, take it down. You're not supposed to show pictures of your house or information about your life. And given a congratulatory lecture. So then you can continue on. Okay, so you want to get free gems for Clash of Clans. You go to a website that says, oh, just put in your phone number. Sounds good. All right, yeah. So, OMG, I'm so lucky. Here's my phone number. Yeah, no, terrible idea. I want to, but I only have an iPad. Will mom's number work? All right, so these are third to fifth graders. Okay, seems legit. Wrong. And then, no way am I giving my phone number to a stranger. And then, yay, happy dog is happy for you. Okay, so then you can advance. So just a review, what we'd have the students do is go through a module like that, and then using, we would have pre-set up folders in Drive that they can have all the emojis and drag those in there, import them as pictures, and make interactive branching slides in that way. And then get them to this review of never post info about your house, never post your phone number. From there.
Okay, so from there, that's gonna watch a little bit video clip. Again, remember we're trying to include all the different capabilities within the classroom, focusing on our special needs students. So we kept the graphics, the page fairly simple, big bright pictures, big words. And so this is just a video that they get to watch at the end of it.
Yeah.
And then
just summary of the video. So we can kind of go over these 5 checklists that was in the video of useful advice for digital citizenship and for posting in general.
And then they get a challenge. So the challenge is they're going to teach kindergarten and first grade about digital citizenship. And so they will, as a group, they're going to design a slide, which there's empty slides at the bottom of this, and they're going to send them to slide. And each slide must have no less than 3 ideas, but not more than 5, because they don't have a few minutes to share. They may use the resources provided to them, which is shown up in the next slide. So what I went ahead and did is I went and looked at them, make sure it was safe and okay for them to use, make sure they worked. And then they have, so they're told that they have 3 minutes to present their information, and then some of the things they need to include. So they need to include an idea or what the an example of like cyberbullying. If that's the idea. The example would be my friend is sending out, on Instagram bad stuff about me that should not be, and then a solution to that problem. That we need to fix the problem. And then they also need to tell why digital citizenship is important. So, those are the websites. Those are some of the videos that I found that were kid-friendly. And then I also have documents that they can use to help them, with their ideas. And so on there, what we're going to tell them is that everybody needs to participate. Everybody needs to at least put one idea down, and if you click on the circle. Oh, sorry, I forgot to give permission. But there is a circle map on there for you to
This is your.
Yeah, we can just make it public. And then,
sorry. Do I need to change it? And then, because it just gave me a link.
That was the worksheet one?
The circle.
Okay, so we have the presentation worksheet.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, just kind of a breakdown, just a general breakdown of a Google Doc that they can use as a template for filling out.
So my goal was to have everyone fill one out so they would help each other to fill up.
I think that's it. Any question? Any question? So then they would just be submitting to these slides, kind of adding from the resources what they learned. Text. However they can use their
Question?
All of these are on the webpage, right? So I was like,
I didn't know about the branch locking in the slides.
Yeah, it's fun. I didn't know about that.
Is that you just create a link
So-
using the hot? Is that what showed you guys?
Using the same
The shape, you make a shape a link or something.
Oh yeah, you can do it with images. So what?
Oh, okay.
So this one, on view.
Right.
Uh,
Right. But
I guess.
that's cool.
Yeah. So you just right click on it, or you just click the link,
You
and
just
then
point to the other slide.
there's a little arrow that drops on there, then it'll give you that list of all your slides.
Oh, you don't even need to grab the link to the
No,
slide.
yeah.
It gives you. Oh, that's cool.
Next to the transparent box,
Yeah, or if like this one would be
just
there's
the
a
picture.
transparent image,
Yeah, just the transparent.
like the emoji. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So even if they touch anywhere else, it'll be okay because it's only on the.
Thank you.
Slam.
Oh, there goes the points.
Oh.
You can
Oh.
give us.
Oh, you guys want to get set up? Want to give the judges a minute to tally up their scores? Yeah.
Such a great job. I really want to see these things on those websites.
Maybe make some money off of it. Okay, so you guys are on, right? You guys ready, judges? Uh-oh. Gotta add some more pictures.
Oh, yeah. This is our musical portion with presentation.
This judgment is inspired by Jimmy.
So,
So much flames. That was amazing.
oh, that was so good. Not by me, by my it's awesome.
you missed that. That's
A
okay.
little bit distracting.
Alright.
Hey, Jenny. Hey.
It's a 9.
It's a palm tree out of 10. No, it's a 9 out of 10 and a 9 out of 10. 9's across the board. All right.
I tried so hard.
Awesome.
So our presentation is a little different.
Okay, so this is your team.
We are Team
Anya.
Anya.
Take it away.
Pete and Vanya. P-A-N. So our presentation, we are talking about how we can use Google Tools in the classroom. And so even though we have the same exact presentation on our Google Slides, we decided to put it in because we were very inspired by the slam where they had really cool.
I think you should have won.
Yeah, that was awesome.
There's no way I could have
voted
won
for
that.
you.
No pandering to the judges.
So we're gonna take you through on an actual tour, and since we're gonna start here with Elon. since we are mixed, or first of all, some our standards first.
So for those of you folks at home who weren't at the demo slam, this is in Google Earth. It's created using went the extra step and took our Google slides and put it into Google Earth as space markers.
And so the standards that we did, well, what we did is we linked it to the standard page, and then we also have the Spanish version as well. We thought that, this project applied to all the standards, but in particular, the research and the information flows, because the students are going in and they're trying to find out about these different locations around the world, either places they visited or places they want to visit. It can be adapted to any classroom. Also because they're using a lot of technology, a lot of operations, a lot of concepts, and they're really it's very hands-on activity. Right. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a tour of some high schools in Hawaii. So every slide is going to be kind of based on the high school skill for your own high school if you teach here. And our ingredients are that we were given 40% ELL students in our class. It's a fairly high percentage, and we are teaching a 9 to 12th grade. Kind of interpret that as maybe a mixed classroom or a teacher who teaches multiple grades, so at any grade level. We are given Android tablets, and we are working with geotablets.
The first thing that jumped out to us was the 40% ELL students. It's a very large percentage. So we examined the challenges and the advantages of having such a diverse group of learners. Obviously, the main challenge there is the language barrier, and not necessarily specific to the ELL students, but lack of varying technological abilities, the lack of real experience and knowledge. That's really something that stands out to me as a teacher on Maui, which is a smaller community. There's the students who, for example, if you're not seeing the best restaurant they've ever been to, they'll say, like, honestly, that's it. That's their world experience. But the advantages on the other side are the different cultural experiences that they bring to the table. Where you can have a wonderful, diverse classroom pairings that may not exist any other time in the world. Where you have great differentiation opportunities for the teacher. Types of activities that we students. So they bring a lot to the table.
And this project is great for ELL kids because a lot of these kids will have the opportunity to visit these places around the world. And so they can, view it and learn more without having to
Second, we had to do the grade levels that we were dealing with. It's obviously multi-grade level. So that's a challenge. We have different abilities. By the time you enter as a freshman, especially when you are graduating, you grow so much. Also, we consider the high school where you have less consecutive class time. So you might only have 30 clock, and maybe you want to see them every day. So the advantages, again, with having the multi-grade levels, is you have the diverse classroom pairings, and we were hoping general maturity. We're middle school teachers.
Yeah.
We were just assuming that high schoolers might be a little bit.
And so our Android tablets, the challenges there is that, there are compatibility issues. When creating about geotools, you can use a variety of different tools, as geotools. And so you can always kind of just figure out what works for those tablets. Also, maybe different, depending on your school, you might have a lot of resources, or maybe not one tablet for each student, but you need a classroom so that you can share with groups. But the advantages of it is that they are portable, and he was talking about how they have the different filters on that content.
Sure. So there's an actual built-in GPS, and so you can record a marker. So when you take a picture, it automatically geolocates it, and it has that information with the picture. So if you're out there, as long as you have Wi-Fi at disposal, or if you have a personal setup there, that you're going to be able to mark a lot of information about the picture, not just here's a picture of a tree. You can actually go as far as to say this is the exact geolocation of that tree. You can give it a lot of metadata.
The great about Android tablets is they're usually a lot more not that big. They're not even associated all the time, so they're better chance to. And then our last ingredient that we had here was geotools. Now the challenges there is that sometimes a lot of students lack experience with that. That's part of teaching them and having practices on their device.
Also, maybe if the class or the school doesn't have however, we are able to have the students really, get their, hands dirty, practicing this and learning how to use this technology. And, it can apply to all students, especially our EL kids, who can learn more about the world. They can be in, right, Pete was sharing about how he had a student who was from, I think it was Micronesia.
So I had a particular student, just got moved here maybe about 3 weeks before we started school, straight from Micronesia. And he's just been really quiet the whole time he was there. He's obviously he was just learning the language and getting used to our culture, schools, and everything were different. And so we were doing Google Maps, and he was able to find his island that he came from. And he was specifically really impressed that everything was in his language. Like, obviously, he found his particular island and it's shaped like a foot. And so he explained to me that, oh, they call it Foot Island, and this is the word foot. So this is his particular language. That's how he was. So it was just something that really stuck out to me, that he was able to explore his world, and he's taking his pictures of my island, and he could go to everywhere else. And he's like, you have no idea, like this boat ride takes a long time. Like you have to go on the boat. It takes a couple, long time to get there. And he's like, but I can go now, and I'm there. And it's just really a really eye-opening experience.
So let's talk a little bit more about what they can do with this. So with the virtual tour, the students can go and plan a visit on any location they visited or plan to visit, and they can include different things. Now what we did here was we included these slides as pictures, and so if they actually went and visited that place, they looked up different pictures, they can actually include that in their slide. They can include information, videos, and they can kind of give like a little tour of that area. And it can be easily applied to social studies classes, English classes, if you're talking about a specific event or area in literature.
So yeah, although we didn't go into as great a detail in terms of the actual lesson plan as other groups, we wanted to give this broad opportunity where you could take it to your classroom and see how you would want to apply it. Obviously, social studies is a huge thing, but even if you're just doing a book study, where are these locations? You can read about them in a book, but if you actually go and visit places, it's totally different.
There's so many different ways you can start, and there's Google Earth. They also have the mind maps and Google Maps as well. So there are just so many different options of whatever works best for your classroom, whatever is maybe simpler, or if you have a talented classroom, you have a bit more difficult than
So we didn't link to the ArcGIS guys. It's on there, just so you guys know about it. I've noticed too that my maps is kind of in the drag now, so that the maps are showing up there. I had a little bit of difficulty incorporating them into sites, but I'm sure that they'll work out. And students do create their own Google sites, and they want to put their maps on there. It looks like you should be able to just select them there, but as is right now, they just get a link and then their map appears on it. It looks like that information is on.
So just to show you how this can work.
You can probably world with Google. And if you've ever wanted to move down a custom map, you're unlocked. With my map, you can create and share maps so you can make and have it made for you. Let's say you're planning a vacation to France. You can search and add locations you want to visit.
Yeah. Zombie apocalypse. Yeah. Why can we not love that?
Yeah. And then contributing your community part, that's a really important thing as well. We've seen how I'm sorry. So you used how the students looked at the map and they saw how they had this access to thing. A big example here too was the YouTube. There's an example at an elementary school in my complex where Safe Routes to Schools, they went through and they showed all these dangerous intersections around the school, and the students created a map and were able to explain to the township, the county, where they need to put in crosswalks. It's actually happening. This is a map, student example. We start small. We start with Maui because that's what all my students know. So hi there, these are many places that there's on the island of Maui. And it just shows them how to create a place mark, how to create layers. And then for each of these particular place marks, the restaurant or whatever it is, Star Noodle, they were just to put in so this is something that they wrote there. The students had to create a little review.
The kids talk about sake cocktails?
Oh yeah, he just looked it up. He's got older sisters. I think that's where he got that part. No, you won't be satisfied. Anyways, but yeah, so we started with some place that they know, their community, and then we branched out to the larger scale, going to places that you haven't been before, and how could you obtain information about these places if you were going to go there. And we all start with Vegas, of course. Because that's where they want to go, or where the entities want to go, or whatever. But another really cool one, I forgot to throw this on here, was that you can actually contribute to Google Maps. I've been looking at our particular community here in Wailuku. It's had a lot of development recently in the elementary school. They put in a whole new shopping center and a new development and everything. And it's not appearing in Google Maps yet, because the last time they went through the street view was 2012. They haven't been over. Some of these, if you've ever been in some of these roads are ridiculous, like so our whole complex is like from here to here. That's how far we have students coming to our school. And so we actually are going through like the Google Maps, and we're suggesting places or telling them about changes that have been made. You can contribute to Google Maps. So it's showing that community contributing part, and how important geography is, not just for
So, that's the end of our presentation. Do you have any questions? Or?
You see your school on there? You better like put it in.
This is why your school. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
All right, so we'll give just a quick minute to deliberate, and we'll tally up the scores and reveal the winners. Just give us a minute. Yeah, still on. A couple viewers right now. Is voting still open on that? Okay. So cool. All right, are we done drawing our image numbers? Okay, you guys ready? Okay, Robert, whenever you want to use first. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to turn this so we can see the. Here we go. Drum roll. A 9 out of 10. And 8 out of 10. And got it to Google. Google Earth. A 10 out of 10. All right.
Andrew, works.
Okay, so we're just going to quickly tally up the scores, and then we'll reveal the winner, the team.
The fan vote's the tiebreaker.
What's that? Yeah. Fan vote is the tiebreaker.
So you don't get like,
nice.
You don't add all the points.
Oh yeah, we'll add them all up and
Add
then.
like every point that you got on there is added to your score.
While she finishes that up, we just wanted to show some appreciation to our judges. We appreciate you guys coming and participating and judging for us. Thank you very much.
Nice job, you guys, and nice job for all of you thinking really creative ways to rock the classroom. That was super fun.
Yeah.
I'm
that
gonna
was-
definitely go on the website and steal all of it.
Yeah, definitely. And we want to appreciate all of you for participating in Iron Chef. And we saw some new things in there that we think you learned yesterday at GAFSM, and that's kind of what we wanted you to do here, rather than just sit and listen all day, give you an opportunity to apply it. I think we missed that opportunity in a lot of professional development and conferences. So thank you very much for participating. We really appreciate it. And we have the winner.
Close.
It's kind of close.
Yeah.
We'll just reveal the winner. Thanks.
I think we're all
Just tallying up the final scores. Everyone's a winner, yeah, of
Those are
course.
great.
Everyone's a winner.
What do you win besides ultimate infamy?
We have a small prize.
It is.
Okay, so the scores have been determined, and the winning team for 2015 is Team Equinox. So for Team Equinox, we have a small prize. You want to come claim your prize? And thank you to the rest of you. Amazing. And we'll put the video on the website. You guys can. Thank you so much.
But I love to
You want to hang out?
hang out.
Oh, that's right. Alright, I'll see you at lunch.
It's amazing.
Oh, wait, what? Oh my gosh, I don't know what's paper.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
So I can't. No. Thanks.